Good morning, everybody. How are you guys doing? How are you guys doing? Okay, awesome. At least one guy. Perfect. Great. So welcome to the session, Enhancing Your Customer Search Experience with Galley. Before I get into the details of what Galley is, how it works, how you connect it to Sylius, and how you can benefit from its awesomeness, let me get a few facts straight, so that we are just on a very same level. For me personally, there are three key components focusing on e-commerce that you need to make sure they work all the time. First thing is cart, right? I as a customer need to be able to add products to the cart. Second, obviously checkout. I need somehow to purchase the stuff that I put into cart. No checkout, no order, no sales, no money, right? So that's really bad. And the last thing for me personally, and not only focusing on this talk, obviously is search. Because if the customer can't find the products that he's looking for, he can't add them to the cart, and then he can't do the checkout. Makes sense, I guess. If you feel that's a bold statement, who is this guy on stage to tell you that? Hi, I'm Stephan. If I'm not standing on stages like this and talking about stuff that I love and do on a daily basis, I run my own company. Company is called bitExpert. We are located in Germany. We are focusing on developing custom sales and marketing digital platforms for our customers. And if you think I'm the only one saying search is important, I can tell you I'm not. There is a company called Nosto who conducted a search earlier this year, and that survey showed that 69% of all shoppers jump straight to the search bar when they visit a new website. And that's cool, right? And that means probably Google spoiled us in the last 20 years because search is important and data gets a lot more, and we need to obviously search what we are looking for. And that's not a big thing, but the real issue is that just about a third of all websites that customers visit have a website search that customers consider being excellent. And that means 2/3 of all websites that we daily visit have a search that sucks. So that means it's quite likely that some merchants here in the audience have a website search that is not that good. And let's find out what you can do with it. Now, what does that mean, the website search is not good enough? Well, it basically means that 80% of your website visitors will just leave like in split seconds. And that's really, really bad. Because obviously these days with tons of competitions, your competitors are just like one click away, and if customers can't find what they are looking for on your website, they'll just move on and find someone else who will sell this product. And what's really crazy is that about 34% of your customers would actually pay a bit more if they could find the product on your merchant's website. So you're losing twice the money, kind of. Now, luckily, brands have figured out that search is important and that they need to work on that. So 84% of all brands are currently figuring out how to invest in improving the search experience of their platform. And if you do that, you basically have the choice between two obvious roads. One is going the self-hosted way, the other one is going the SaaS version way. There are good pros and cons for both sides, and we don't need to go into detail about that in this discussion here. You don't need to make the choice right now yourself. I'm just doing the choice for you. I'm picking the red pill in good old Neo style. So going the self-hosted route, because Galley is a self-hosted solution. Now, Galley is a relatively new contender. It's 1.0 version was released this summer, and a few weeks ago they released the 1.1 version. But that does not mean Galley and the ideas behind that are available for a lot longer, because the first idea started about 10 years ago at a company called Smile in France as a research and development project, just to see what you could do with Elasticsearch and bringing that to an e-commerce platform. All those ideas later turned into an open source project called Elasticsuite Open Source. And then Smile somehow figured out running an open source project costs money. People need to get paid. So what did they do? Well, they released a premium version, adding more features, adding premium features, and then customers or merchants have to pay for that. And then in 2021, 2022, they figured out why limiting ourselves to just one platform. So Elasticsuite was just basically focusing on the Magento ecosystem. So why limiting ourselves to just Magento when there are tons of other options out there? And those ideas led to the creation of Galley and its inception. I guess a lot of you are developers. Like, who's a developer? Okay, cool. Perfect crowd for me. Now let's look a bit at the tech stack of Galley. And there might be a few things in it which sound familiar to you. First of all, it's using PHP. Woo! Awesome. It's based on Symfony. Technically, it's based on API platform. It uses a relational database, so MySQL, MariaDB, or Postgres to store configuration data, and it's been using Elasticsearch as the search engine. And if you look in the middle row, you probably realize, wait a minute, this stack looks familiar. And this is why I think Galley could be really interesting for you Sylius people, because if you've ever used and developed in Sylius, it's super easy for you to get along and figure out how Galley is working. Cool. Great. So what is in for Galley for you? Well, it has a bunch of key features. Obviously, it comes with full text search. You can define which product properties, which product attributes should be searchable, the weight of the search. You can define if it should be a fuzzy search, an exact match, fuzzy match, all those different things. Obviously, it can deal with multiple languages. The premium version of Galley is able to work with synonyms, with expansions, with boosts, like making sure that some products rank higher in the search results based on certain rules that you define. Galley helps you figuring out a good filter and sorting system for your users. So based on the context you're in, making sure that right filters are displayed in your e-commerce system. You can also, in the premium version, create what they call virtual categories, where you could say, based on certain product attributes, you create a category of products, like the newest products, the products with the highest price, with the cheapest price, whatever, all the products with a red color or whatever, and then without having the need for the merchant to assign those products to specific taxons, right? It does like the magic internally and then just return the data. Cool. So how does it work? Well, as I said, there's Galley and there's MariaDB and Elasticsearch. So MariaDB is used, or generally the relational database is used for storing configuration data. Which channels are there, which languages are there, which catalogs are there, which product attributes are there, product options, like all the static stuff basically, and the product information then is put in Elasticsearch, and that's what the search is running against. And then we have technically any kind of e-commerce platform. Since we are at SyliusCon, obviously Sylius makes sense. And there's like a two-way communication between Sylius and Galley, meaning that whenever you add or change data in Sylius, it's been using its REST API to push the data from Sylius to Galley. And if you are on Storefront and you want to search for products or browse the taxons, you can use the GraphQL API to do these searches. And it's pretty cool because you cannot only use Galley just for Sylius, you could hook in any kind of application. Maybe you have a specific mobile application that you want to use the exact same search results as your Sylius platform, or you got an internal application, or whatever. You have maybe like a single page application, PWA, and it could talk to Sylius and Galley like at the same time and then figure out what to display. And to me, that sounds really like an awesome solution. And if you don't trust me, maybe you trust my good old friend Jay-Z, who after installing Galley said, I've got 99 problems, but search ain't one. I found this super funny. Anyway, so how do you set up Galley? That's a super simple process, 4 steps. First, you need to clone the repo, or you fork it and clone it, depending on your specific interests. You then run the make up command, which builds like the whole Docker infrastructure and downloads all the dependencies and does its magic. And once that is done, you load the initial fixtures, like default data that Galley needs to understand what is going on. And then obviously you need to create a user to be able to log into Galley and use that credentials as well to connect Sylius to Galley in a later step. And once that is done and you wait a bit, you are presented with this lovely login screen where you can log in and everything is up and running and working perfectly. Now we have the Galley side set up. What about the Sylius part? Easy, or almost easy, 5 steps to work with. If you have ever installed a Sylius plugin, you know exactly what to do. So this is not real magic. You just require the Galley Sylius plugin composer package. If you want to do it now, you need to require the dev master version because we haven't yet tagged a final 1.0 release. You need to make sure the bundle is added in the bundles PHP file. You need to import the admin routes. Your channel entity needs to implement this Galley channel interface, and we have a trait for that as well. So if you've ever modified your local entities, you should know how this is done. You have to copy a few Sylius shop bundle templates because we did some magic that was required to get everything up and running. And then you run the Doctrine database migrations. And once you log into Sylius admin, you'll see here a Galley configuration menu item where you can then define the access credentials, the URL, and test the connection and do some initial data sync. Now, besides that, you need to enable Galley for each of the sales channels that you have, and you want Galley to be active. So just hop in the sales channel configuration. There's this new little box here saying Galley configuration. Click on this lovely button, and then Galley is active. Now, the next step we need to do is we need to initially synchronize all the data from Sylius to Galley, because we obviously want to search to make the search work, obviously. So that's a 2-step process. First, we synchronize all the structure, meaning like the product attributes, the product attribute options, all the translations, taxons, all that stuff. And once that is done, we'll run a index, which will then go through all the different products that you have in your Sylius database, check which channels they're active in, and then sync all that data to Galley. And once that is done, and you're reloading storefront, you will see something like this. Just ignore this little thing here on the side. I'll just cover that in a second. To be able to test if Galley is working, we can search for gray T. Now, if you do that in a standard Sylius demo, that won't show any results. If you do that with Galley and Elasticsearch, it will perfectly give you this one result with the gray and the T keywords presented. And this way you know Galley is up and running and working. And as I just said, there is this new thing here on the side, filters. These are also coming from Galley, as I said in the beginning. Based on the context you're in, Galley understands what filters make perfect sense for your current context, and Sylius will render all these filters. Can you modify them? Well, if I ask a question like this, you probably already know the answer. Yes, you can. Just hop in Galley. In the attribute configuration, you see all the attributes that Galley is aware of, and there is this flag filterable. Just enable that button, re-index everything, because Galley under the hood needs to let Elasticsearch know there is some new fields there, and this is the way how you do the filtering stuff, and so on and so forth. And after that, the T-shirt brand filter appears in the filter view. Couldn't be any easier, right? Right? Okay. Now, it might look odd that like the T-shirt brand filter is more important than the price filter. That feels weird. Can we change that? The answer is yes. Again, jump into Galley. In the facet configuration, you can see all the active filters like price, T-shirt, brand, category, and stock. And we can change a ton of options. On the very right, you can see we can change the positions. Over here, you can say, well, I don't care about the stock filter, just hide it. I don't care about category filter, just hide it. And then I can instantly reload the storefront, and the settings have been applied. So the price filter is above the T-shirt brand filter. So no coding needed. Any merchant should be able to do that his or herself. So filtering is cool, but what about sorting? So by default, these sorting sorting attributes also come from Galley, because again, Galley knows the context. It knows what kind of sorting fields make sense for you. But again, you can totally customize that as well. Hop into Galley. As I said, you see all the list of different attributes that Galley is aware of that have been synced from Sylius, and we just enable the sorting button over there, jumping back to the Galley storefront, and then we have the T-shirt brand as a sorting option as well. That is easy. Now the cool thing about Galley is that it's extremely extensible. So it comes with a great set of default options that work in like 80–90% of the use cases. You probably have some special ways to index certain attributes, and then you need to do that manually by yourself. And it's not really limited to the e-commerce sphere, saying I know about products, I know about categories, I know about all these things. You can basically extend Galley with any kind of entity that you want to index. And it's not much work. First of all, you have to create a new metadata entity. That's just an API call, just saying, hey, I have this new entity, I don't know, blog post or FAQ items, or I want my reviews to be indexed. You have to do that. Then you need to decide which source fields, which product attributes you want to index of that kind of metadata. By default, you just need an ID field, and then any kind of other field is fine. So you define that. Then you start indexing your content. And once that is available, you can query that data easily in the exact same way as I showed you with the products via the GraphQL API. So super extensible. And that's pretty cool, I think. Now, I mean, it's 2023, obviously, right? And you probably think, yeah, pretty cool features, but what about AI? I mean, everybody is talking about AI, right? So what you showed, Stephan, that's totally like 2015. I mean, what's the deal? Cool thing is, Romain, the crazy guy behind Galley and this whole thing, just emailed me last week and told me, Stephan, we need to talk about AI in a presentation. We need to add some slides. Okay, cool. So he told me that he's currently playing with an Elasticsearch feature called vector search. The idea behind is that Elasticsearch is turning the data that it's indexing into vectors and then using some kind of approximate nearest neighbor algorithms to find similar data or more relevant data, which makes your search results even more relevant, and it will execute even faster than just standard Elasticsearch, and that's pretty cool. don't ask me the details. I have no idea about it. I just read the Elasticsearch blog post. So basically you can, and this is the cool thing, you don't only can index pure documents like text, you could also index images, audio, video, whatever. So any kind of information Elasticsearch is able to turn into such a vector, and then based on these nearest neighbor algorithms figure out data that relates to each other. That means if you index all your product images, a customer could come and search for like a red t-shirt, and even though red t-shirt is not part of the product description, the product could actually appear in the search results. And that's magic and some kind of cool, I guess. And there are tons of use cases for vector search. You can use it for semantic search. You can use it for search recommendations. You can use it for question answering, like saying something like, show me all the products that are in stock, have like a red t-shirt or something similar like a red t-shirt. Just show me what you have, like really abstract searches. And that can be then properly answered by Elasticsearch. And as I just said, you can search unstructured data, so anything from images, audio, sensor data, whatever. Elasticsearch is able, using the vector search algorithms, to figure out what that is. And the coolest thing probably then for us is you can re-rank the search results, making products that are really important or look like they are more important than others, ranking higher in the search results, and then provide better search experience for the customer. So is that enough? I take that as a yes. I take that as a yes. I don't know when this will be finished, so I really hope that Romain in a couple of weeks will shoot me another email saying, hey, I've got this prototype done, just check it. If not, I will try to catch him as soon as I see him next, because I really can't wait to play around with that. And that's what I've prepared for you guys. So give Galley a try. That's all I can say. I'm a big fanboy. That's probably obvious by this presentation. You can do a lot of stuff, and I think since the tech stack is so similar to SyliusOne, it's really easy to get into that and to customize things if you really need to. And having said that, thanks a lot for attending this presentation. Are there any questions? A lot. Yes. Go ahead. Hmm? Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So the question was, does this affect, or can I use this for like a global product search? And the answer is yes. Currently, it just works like the standard Sylius search. So whenever you are in a specific category, it will just list the products of that category. But you could easily like remove that and just like do a global search. Right. Mm. 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 Right. Yeah. Mm. Right. I have to say it was actually a bit tricky to get like the search and the filters up and running, and I had to do some really nasty hacks to get it currently in a working state, because in Sylius grid implementation these filters are static, and in Galley's in the way Galley works, you get the filters dynamically per response, and then you have to figure out like how to make them available. But yeah, you could totally like get rid of the categories in this GraphQL query, and then all products should be returned if you want that. Would it work if you search in the top category root? Probably. I've never tried it, but I can't really tell you. We can test it later. We can test it later. Good. Any more questions? You, sir. Hmm. Yeah. So documentation is still in the works. Where's the repo link? Here you go. So if you go to Elasticsearch/Galley on GitHub, they have a wiki page with a few examples on how like search works, how you create these new entities and stuff like that. So it could be more in depth as always, but you should get a good idea how that works. Right. Mm. Right. Mm. Sure, sure. Mm. Yeah, totally, totally. Why not? You, sir. Mm. Not yet, but I'm pretty sure it will be added to the premium version relatively soonish. So like the Magento counterpart Elasticsearch, their premium version can do that, but it's not yet implemented in Galley, but that's, I guess, one of the plans. Obviously, it's a little bit complicated, more complicated doing that with Galley because it's like completely independent of your store, and you need to figure out then how to make it aware, like what you clicked and stuff. But I guess the guys will figure out how to properly do that. Yes. Can you enable filters on the taxons? Yes, that is possible. So you could either define them globally or on a taxon level. So if you really want to go crazy with different taxons and filters, like what you want to allow or not, you can totally do that. Yeah. Yes. So what we also think is the stock amount, and if you monitor the stock amount, and then you can totally then use the stock filter to say I'm just interested in products that are available currently. Yes. That's an index per channel, so per channel and per language. Yeah. That is a very good question, and I totally forgot to tell you that. Great. So basically, whenever you add a new attribute or you change an attribute, that data is directly synced to Galley, or if you like add a new product or modify a product, that data or a variant, that is then directly synced to Galley as well. So saving that just takes a little bit longer, but it's then instantly synced. Or you could do you could run the manual re-indexing every now and then. That would also be an option. Don't worry if you do that. The existing indexes are still available, and search will work. And then once the indexing is done and finished, Galley will then internally switch the Elasticsearch index and then take the new one. Great questions. Anyone else? Yeah. Obviously not. Well, performance is not that bad, I guess, because all the data is sent in chunks to Galley. It's not yet configurable, but at some point you can configure that as well. It just like takes a while to gather like all the information like for the product attributes. That can take a bunch of seconds until everything is synced. Right. That is something we need to test. I can't Do you have an idea, Daniel? Have you guys tested it? No, no, no. Well, it just works. Let's put it that way. But obviously, it will take some time. Yeah. Great. Any more questions? Yes. Right. Hmm. Well, technically not using Galley, but that's something that you would do on the Sylius side. So these are like standard. Wait a minute, where was it? Just give me a second. So these are mostly standard Sylius components when it comes to filtering, except like the range one. That's like a Symfony standard that I brought in. But if you feel like you want to change the appearance, then you just override the templates, and I guess that should be working. Great. Oh, even more questions. That's just the last free one, right? The next one you need to pay. Okay. Okay. Right. Yeah. 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 Mm. Mm. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I would probably build something separate because that indexing part is really focused on Galley and the data Galley needs and the structure that Galley needs. Making that abstract in a way that you could plug in anything or generate anything from it might be a bit too much for that, I would assume. Okay, and there was, yeah. The dependency of the filters. Not yet to my knowledge. You can build or you can use these filters and different rules to build like virtual categories that then are displayed. But I don't think right now that you have like dependencies between filters. That might be interesting at some point. That's a good idea, I think. Yeah. Okay, another free one. Yeah. 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 Right. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. 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 Mm-hmm. Well, I have some good news for you. Your n+1 problem is solved because Galley brings that automatically with you. So for each filter option, you also get like the count of all the products that are related to that filter within your search, basically. Man, you're asking tough questions. I don't know. I didn't try that. I would assume it would even filter that down at some point. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's currently technically absolutely an issue that I already raised with the Galley team. So if you configure the filters in a very specific way that no products show up, all the filters are gone because obviously it doesn't know about the filters. So that definitely needs to be solved somehow. Yeah, yeah. I realized that as well when I played around with it. I think, fuck. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. So I guess the best option would be to run the search again without like the filters and then like figuring out the maximum. Well, I mean, yeah, sure, but it's like then n+1. Yeah, okay, n+1, yeah, or 1+1 probably, because it's just an additional query. But yeah, that's something that needs to be solved, I guess. Cool. Any more questions? No one? Okay, cool. Then thanks a lot for attending this session. I'll be here the whole day. If you want, wait a minute. If you want to see this in action, just grab me and we'll run through it at my laptop. I was just not confident enough to do a live demo here on stage. I'll totally be honest with you guys. And yeah, give it a try. Have a look at it. It's a really cool solution. That's all I can say. Thanks and enjoy the rest of the conference.